Let us discuss the second in the kingdom classification, that is kingdom Protista. Now when we talk about kingdom Protista, it is itself is a unicellular organism. They can be only seen by the help of a compound microscope. The nucleus with a nuclear membrane, they have a nucleus inside that with a nuclear membrane surrounding it inside the cell, and the pseudopodia is present. Pseudopodia is made out of proteins which are there as a cell wall and helps in the locomotion of the group Protista. Now these are the characteristics of Protista, and the example is amoeba. Now let us understand the movement of amoeba. This is very important, we should know. The movement. How does amoeba move? The movement of amoeba is, I have a diagrammatic diagram here to show you. Now see, this is a structure of amoeba. How does it look like? It has a contractile vacuole in the center. Now cytoplasm is filled inside the cell of an amoeba. Now inside the portion of cytoplasm, or the portion which is near to the nucleus, is known as endoplasm. The cytoplasm which is on the boundary of pseudopodia, we call it cytoplasm. Ectoplasm, near the boundary, you have food vacuoles which absorb the food. Mitochondria, which stores energy for further multiplication of work, and the nucleus is centrally located with the nuclear membrane. We also have cell membrane outside the organism, and pseudopodia is the outermost layer of the amoeba which helps in the movement. Mitochondria stores food. This is how is the structure of an amoeba. Now amoeba move from one place to another with the help of pseudopodia. It means it's like this. Suppose it has to come from here to here, it will stretch itself like this. It will stretch itself, and from here it will come here. Like a rubber band, it stretch and move. It stretch and move. It stretch and move. Like this, it stretch and move. It stretch and move. With the help of the boundary which is pseudopodia, it helps in movement. Now let us discuss about the reproduction of amoeba. There are two methods. First is binary fission. Now what is binary fission? Binary fission means, suppose there is one cell of amoeba with a nucleus. The nucleus start dividing into two. The chromosomes or the chromatin fibers which are there inside the nucleus, they double itself. Suppose there is one, they will start doubling, and then you will find the doubling of the nucleus, that is the like this, see, 1 and 2. The nucleus also start stretching itself, and then you will find that this amoeba gets divided into two daughter cell with a nucleus intact. Now the chromatin which is there as a one DNA strand or two DNA strand, it multiply into 4. Now 4, because one will go in one daughter cell and 2 will go in another daughter cell. 2 in one daughter cell, 2 in another daughter cell. The nucleus start elongating. See, it looks like this. Suppose the nucleus is there, it start elongating like this, and this is how. And inside the cell, the nucleus which is there, it also elongate, and they start breaking, and they break into two equal parts. This is how the amoeba divides, and this method is known as binary fission. Fission means splitting of 1 into 2. That is binary fission. The second one is multiple fission. In multiple fission, inside an amoeba, suppose there is a nucleus. Now the multiple DNA, suppose it has a DNA inside the nucleus. They form multiple DNA, see, like this. Inside the cell only, they form many nucleus with a DNA. Like this. And then they start splitting into separate amoeba, into different amoeba with a nucleus intact. Then the entire cytoplasm and nuclear membrane also divide, and they form and split into 4. This is from one, multiple forms, so we call it multiple fission. Now we come to another system of classification, another step in the classification, that is kingdom fungi. Let us understand the characteristics of kingdom fungi. Now nucleus which is there inside is distributed throughout. That is a characteristic feature of fungi. It is a non-green in color. The chlorophyll is not present. They are heterotrophic in nutrition. They are not autotrophic in nature, and the body is made by a thread-like structure known as hyphae. Now they grow under the damp condition, and the best example is mushroom. They grow like this. See, if you see a bread mold, which is an example of fungi, they grow like this on the bread mold. Now see. Now these are hyphae. These are hyphae. And these are sporangiophores. Now these sporangiophores, it contain a substance inside it, which is a DNA reproductive material. When these sporangiophores, they break up these reproductive material, they fall wherever and they form a new hyphae like this. This is the method of reproduction in fungi. Now the next one, and the best example when we talk about fungi is, the best example is bread molds. If you keep a bread outside for some time into the environment, after 8 to 10 hours you find the bread molds getting developed. That's the development of fungus. And this is how they develop, and they spread across the bread itself. This is what is the structure and the method of reproduction of fungus. Now, the next concept step we like to discuss here is, that is very important, we should know, that is, these fungus, when we are talking about, they are having an aerobic respiration. This is very important. We generally miss it. They have aerobic respiration. You just need to remember, they are non-green in color. They have hyphae, and the structure is known as sporangiophores on the top, which has spores in it. Once it's split, these spores, wherever they fall, they develop a new hyphae. This is how they spread from one place to another. Now the another one is, the best example is, very importantly you should know that, is mushroom. That is the best example. Now some useful fungi and some harmful fungi. When we talk about useful, we should know about useful and harmful. First we'll discuss about useful fungi. First is yeast. They are the ones which are used by the main bakery in the bakery items. You have breads, you take dhokla, you eat idlis. All the fermentation process is done by yeast, which is a fungus, which helps in the fermentation process, which leads to making it very fluffy and soft in nature. All bakery products. Another one is a penicillium fungus, which is used in the processing of cheese. When the processing is done for the cheese, this type of fungus is used. The name is penicillium. Another one, penicillium, is also used in making antibiotics like tetracycline. All penicillin group of antibiotics like tetracycline, terramycin, all these antibiotics, it's been processed through the fungus. And the last one is mushroom, which is edible. We eat it also. It's very delicious and tasty. Now let us discuss about harmful fungus. There are two types. Ones they give infection to animals, and others they give infection to humans. In human, you have athletic foot. When the fungus go in between the fingertips, it creates an infection known as athletic foot. It is in the foot of a person. Another one is ringworm. It is in the genital areas, which is a covered area. If the fungus grows there because of temperature, moisture and humidity, that is known as ringworm infection. And whenever we talk about animals, let us understand it is there in cows, and it is also found in fruits like grapes. Right? Now these are the major classification of kingdoms of classification. We have understood Monera, Protista, fungus. Now we'll continue with kingdom Plantae.